go at writing prefix formula, we have to actually know what prefix means. In Greek, the word prefix means comes before. We're going to be focusing on numerical prefixes, i.e. telling us how many of each type of atom we've got in a compound. For one, we have the prefix mono. Think about monobrow, someone with one eyebrow. Two is di. I think about dissect, when you cut something in two. Three, the prefix is tri. Think about a tricycle. It has 3 wheels. 4 is tetra. Have you ever played the game Tetris? And have you ever noticed that all of the shapes actually have 4 blocks? That's because tetra means 4. 5, the prefix is penta. Think about a pentagon. 6 is hexa. And for some reason, I constantly think about the devil 666. Witches used to put hexes on people. So I'm going to go through 3 worked examples with you before I give you a couple to have a go at. The first rule for writing prefix formula is that you must write the symbol for the element using the periodic table, and you must write how many you have from the prefix after the symbol that you have got in subscript. So if we look at this example where we have carbon dioxide, there is no prefix in front of the word carbon, so we assume that we only have one. The chemical symbol for that is C. Remember, we don't write ones in science, so there's no number directly after the symbol. Oxide, remember if it ends in ide, it's only got 2 elements, the first one being carbon, so therefore the second element is oxygen. The symbol for that is O. We can see that we've got a prefix there of di. Di means 2, so we put a small 2 directly after the chemical symbol for oxygen. So the formula for carbon dioxide is CO2. This next example is nitrogen trifluoride. There is no prefix in front of the word nitrogen, so we look up the symbol, which is N, and we assume that we have 1, but we don't write ones, so we don't write any number after the symbol. Trifluoride, fluoride, remember if it ends in ide, we've only got 2 elements, the first element being nitrogen, so the second element must be fluorine. The symbol for that is F. The prefix is tri, which means that we have 3 of those. So the formula for nitrogen trifluoride is NF3. This last example is a little bit trickier, and it is for dinitrogen tetraoxide. Nitrogen chemical symbol is N. We have a prefix of di, which tells us we have 2 of those, so we write a small 2 after the chemical symbol. Tetraoxide, remember if it ends in ide, we've only got 2 elements. The first element was nitrogen, which means the second element is oxygen, so the symbol for that is O. We have a prefix of tetra. Tetra means 4, so we put the 4 directly after the chemical symbol. So the formula for dinitrogen tetraoxide is N2O4. So I have got 5 examples of prefix formula that I would like you to have a go at. You can pause the video and the answers will appear once you start the video back up again. So I have got 5 examples of prefix formula that I would like you to have a go at. You can pause the video and the answers will appear once you start the video back up again. Chemistry can be an abstract idea, and hence why we draw molecules out so that we can visualise the chemistry on paper. Here is an example of a molecule here of ammonia. What you may be asked to do is to write the chemical or molecular formula of a structure given. The way to do this is to firstly identify the different types of elements that you have. We've got nitrogen, which is the central atom, and the chemical symbol for that is N. How many have we got? We've got 1, but we don't write the number directly after the symbol, as we don't write ones in chemistry. Hydrogen has got the chemical symbol H, so we write that directly after. And how many of those have we got? We have 3, so we write a small 3 after that. So the molecular formula or chemical formula for this molecule is NH3. This is the chemical structure for ethanol. We can see that we have 3 different elements that are joined in this structure. The order in which we usually write the molecular formula is CH, then O. How many carbon atoms do we have? Well, carbon is represented by the symbol C. We have 2 of those, so we write a small 2 after the chemical symbol. Hydrogen has the chemical symbol H. How many of those do we have? We have 6. And the chemical symbol for oxygen is O. So the molecular formula for this structure is C2H6O. Remember, we don't write ones. This question's from the Standard Grade 2008 past paper, written 15B Part 1. The question asks, write the formula for carbon dioxide gas. Now we can see that the compound ends in "ide", which means it only contains 2 elements. We see a prefix, so we're going to be using the simple prefix formula, not SVSDF. The symbol for carbon is C. There is no prefix before that, so we assume that we have 1, and we don't write ones, so we write no number after the chemical symbol. Oxygen's chemical symbol is O, and the prefix that we have there is di, which means we have 2, so we pop a 2 after the chemical symbol for oxygen. So the molecular formula for carbon dioxide is CO2. This is from the Standard Grade 2006 past paper question, written 16B. The question asks, write the formula for nitrogen dioxide. The compound ends in "ide", which means we only have 2 elements, and we can see a prefix in the name, which means that we're using the simple prefix formula and not the SVSDF. The symbol for nitrogen is N. There's no prefix, which means we only have 1, but we don't write ones, so we just write the symbol N. Oxygen has the chemical symbol O, so we write that down. The prefix is di, which means we've got 2, and we write a small 2 after the chemical symbol. That means that the molecular formula for nitrogen dioxide is NO2. This question's from the Standard Grade 2011, written 10A. Hydrazine is a fuel used in rockets. The diagram represents a molecule of hydrazine. The grey represents a nitrogen atom with the chemical symbol N, and the white circle represents a hydrogen atom with the chemical symbol H. Write the molecular formula for hydrazine. Now, we always want to start with the central atom, so that's the atoms that are in the middle. The chemical symbol for the grey, which is the central atom, is N for nitrogen. How many of those have we got? We have 2, so we pop a 2 after the chemical symbol. The white represents a hydrogen atom, which has the chemical symbol H. How many of those have we got? We've got a 4. So the molecular formula for hydrazine is N2H4. This is from the Standard Grade 2013 paper, written 16C. Xylitol is a compound found in some toothpastes. The structure of xylitol is shown below. Complete the molecular formula for xylitol, and the order in which they would like us to write the molecular formula is C, then H, then O. If we count the number of carbons given in the structure, we have 5. So the start of the molecular formula will be C, then a 5. The chemical symbol for hydrogen is H, and if we count the number of hydrogens given in the structural formula, we have 12. The symbol for oxygen is O, and we have a total of 5 oxygens given there. So the molecular formula for xylitol is C5H12O5. This last question is from the Standard Grade 2009 written 17B. The diagram shows a molecule of lactic acid. Write the molecular formula for lactic acid. So using the structure provided, we have to write the molecular formula, and we usually go in the order of carbon, hydrogen, then oxygen. The chemical symbol for carbon is C. How many of those have we got? We have 3. The chemical symbol for hydrogen is H. How many hydrogens do we have in this structure? We have 6. And the chemical symbol for oxygen is O, and we have 3 of those. So the molecular formula for lactic acid is C3H6O3.